Wow. Wow, 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 people. Drama at the end of the playoff final. Oh my Lord. What a madness. I honestly, when the game started, with the game the way it was going, I thought it was only going to be Sheffield United only. Sunderland they did it in the semi-finals, didn't they? They just fight, claw, scratch for everything. And they came out with the win. Now they're in the Premier League with Leeds United and Burnley. Brilliant end to the game as a neutral. Gonna say my partner, she's not here right now, but I can imagine she's gonna be not very happy about this one. But listen, people, it's all one of those, isn't it? It's like all those things on thumbnails. Take your pick. But listen, we are here with transfer talk because now we know what the Premier League is going to look like. Now there's no ifs, there's no buts. We know who all 20 teams will be in the Premier League next season. We know who we've got to be better than. And I'm just hoping we can be better than more than 3 teams. And that all comes with the recruitment. So we're going to speak about some updates to players that we discussed on the channel before. And I'll also look in the chat as well to see if you guys have got anything that you want to bring up that could be interesting. Because like I said in my last video, people, some of you have been messaging me some very concerning names. All right, let me just put it that way. If we was to sign some of the players that some of you have suggested, we may as well not go up. All right, and that's being nice. Matthew saying the Mayenda goal was nice, though. I think both goals, even the second one, I've got a bit of an issue with the goalkeeper. I've got to be honest. I don't know how that went in from that distance at that speed against a keeper like Cooper. Gotta say that. But the first 2 goals, when you're talking the pass from Harmer, by the way, he's not staying in the championship, and maybe we can speak about that. But he ain't staying there. He's a class above, and it's not just today he's been doing that. He's literally been doing that all season. He's just been a different class to with Sheffield United in this division. But his pass to open up for Campbell, lovely finish with that one. But you're right, Matthew, that Mayenda goal, the touch and the finish was superb. Absolutely. Exactly. Oh my God, yeah. Chris here, this is bad news for us. Okay, it's always bad news with Chris. They have better recruitment, better manager, biggest blah, 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 blah. We're going to get into that, Chris. We're going to speak about that because I did want to get into who would you have preferred to go up today? And I would have said Sheffield United. I'm probably with Chris with that because I don't think they would have recruited that well. Let me get myself smaller so you guys can see from the result today. I don't think Sheffield United would have recruited that well. I'm just being honest. And I know they've got new ownership now. Maybe they would have recruited better when they went up. But this recruitment team spent 10 million on Tom Cannon. And they would have had to have made that work somehow. So there's no way for me they would have released Tom Cannon in the summer. I think they would have pursued with him. And just with the way that Chris Wilder likes his certain kind of players, I don't think they would have recruited better. Sunderland, on the other hand, with their resources, their directors, their recruitment team, their coach as well, Reggie Labrise, who almost made a few mess ups today. I didn't think he did substitutions right today. Obviously, they worked out in the end, but it was looking like, oh, why aren't you changing it quicker? Why aren't you changing it quicker? Heard that before. But he is a well-respected coach, and Sunderland are a big, ambitious team. And I can imagine they're not going to want to keep on being Newcastle United's little brothers, and I think they're going to recruit pretty well. But at this point in time, people, the 3 teams that have gone up are easily the 3 teams that will be coming back down at this point in time. With no recruitment, with no incomings, with no outgoings, the 3 teams that are coming up are the 3 worst teams in the Premier League. It's not being pessimistic. It's being realistic and knowing the quality of the Premier League. We're talking about having to win at least 10 games next season to be above the dotted 3 lines. We have to win at least 10. You've seen Tottenham have lost 21 games and have still stayed up because the 3 teams below have just been so bad because they haven't got the recruitment right that it wasn't even a challenge when Tottenham should be in trouble. They should be relegated, people. So that's why it's important that we have to get recruitment right. Now, let's have a look here. I got to say, Hyru, this rig, I thought Sirkin was terrible today. I thought he stank the joint out. Defensively, just lapses everywhere. I thought he lost possession loads of times. Joby looked good. Joby is, you can tell though, Joby's in that Bellingham class though, isn't he? And I know you know it's not going to be like your brother. I think we've seen that in football before, but you can see he's got that touch, and I'm sure he's going to enjoy playing in the Prem. Chris Rigg as well. I mean, he got took off quite early, in all fairness. I don't think he impressed too much, and I think he's kind of tailed off as well. But yeah, there was a lot in Sunderland's team today that didn't look all that good, but they came up trumps where it mattered, much like the semi-final. So they're going to definitely need to build off that. I thought their keeper was probably their best player because he made some absolutely crucial saves at crucial times. I mean, at the beginning of the game, that save from Moore's header, that's incredible. Incredible, as they say. Incredible. But Sunderland, I feel, if they are going to be as ambitious as I think they will be, I think they're going to be a bit of a challenge to be better than 3 teams as well. So what we're looking at, people, is to be better than Burnley, Sunderland. I'd say Everton as well, and we're going to be speaking about them soon. Palace still always being 12th, but they do have the added thing of European football, which they're not used to, so maybe that could come into play. Fulham, it's tough. Forest, will they be there again? There's a lot of ifs and buts, but the main factor of what I'm talking about is the quality of our squad has to be better. And Man United, of course, yeah. So yeah, a lot of you are saying the same, and I just wonder, and because I'm with you, I do think Sunderland will be a problem. I wonder if you guys would have been saying the same if Sheffield United have gone up, even though Sheffield United probably the better team. There's just something about them where you just think, that's not going to work in the Premier League, what you're doing. Michael Cooper's going to see more shots as well in the Premier League. Is he going to be able to handle that kind of workload like he hasn't really done in this season? There's a lot of ifs and buts, but Sunderland, we shall see. Yeah, Lee saying Wolves will be down there. Yeah, I mean, they're going to be selling Mateus Cunha. I'm sure they'll be trying to replace him, but will they replace him correctly? I mean, we tried to replace Rafinha. That didn't go very well. So there's so many ifs and buts, but what I want Leeds United to do is just make as sure as possible. Every transfer we make is going to be a risk. That's just life. You think you're going to be buying something guaranteed and then it doesn't perform. You're like, damn, we've wasted money here. But then there can also be some surprises where you go, that's a gem. That's helped keep us up. Let's go. Let's go. Let's have a look here. Hank is saying equally Sunderland could take more points off the rest of the league. I mean, we'll see, Hank. And the reason why I say this, listen, and I'm not putting Sunderland fans don't care what I say, but they didn't play well in these playoffs overall. You know, for me, I know people talk about Frank Lampard being a big baby. They were better. Coventry were the better team overall, but Sunderland just dug in and were efficient and they got the job done, much like today. That works in this division. That doesn't work in the Premier League. It's completely different. And when we go back up to the Premier, you guys are having to watch Premier League games again, you'll understand what I'm saying. Dominic here, go get Harmer and Cooper. Harmer, for me, is what he can give you in 70 minutes is worth more than what a lot of players can give you for 90 minutes. I know that at some point in the game, Harmer's going to go down. He does it in almost every single game. After like 70 minutes, that's his tank emptied. But what Harmer gives you is pure quality. And if he's a squad option, I would like him to be a squad option. But again, I would like us to go in for Martin Bacciarina to really push ourselves out away from the bottom half. Sorry, not bottom half, the bottom 3, I should say. If you can get a Bacciarina and get a Harmer as a rotation option with Bacciarina, I'm all in. I'm all in. But this is where it stops for me because there's not much else I would take from the Championship. And for me, with some of the names some of you guys have been messaging me, it's almost like you're thinking we're still trying to get promoted. We're going to have to try and stay in the Premier League, people. It's a completely different kettle of fish. Lee saying here, Harmer would be less than 15 million. We'll find out, Lee. This is where we will find out now what clauses players have got in their contracts, who's got a non-promotion release clause, who's got a release clause if certain teams could go in for the player. This is where we find all of this out. This is the most interesting time. We was here this time last year, people. We was here this time last year where we didn't go up. All of a sudden now clauses are triggered. Even after subpar performances in the final, Somerville gets his move. Jorginho gets his move. Archie Gray, European champion Archie Gray gets his move. This is where everything now comes out for the teams that don't achieve promotion. Jason, he was good in the Prem. It wasn't that he wasn't that bad. He was good. Like, he was literally the standout player in that Sheffield United team, along with Brereton Diaz, in all fairness to him too. But Gus Harmer was levels above, and you could tell he was playing balls where if a better quality player was with him, they would get on the end of them. But because he was like 2 steps ahead of his teammates, they looked like some of them were wasted passes. And a bit like when Rafinha was with us in the Premier League, people, and he's doing all these passes, and then he's got Tyler Roberts or he's got Jack Harrison. He's like, oh man, sorry, ref. Sorry. I'm sorry we surround you with that crap. Let's have a look here. Oh God. Yeah. Who's Hooper, Steve? Who's in for Hooper now? I don't know who Hooper is. Let me know. Vinny Sosa, nah, not for me, man, Jason. I hear what you're saying, and I've been impressed with him this year. The most impressive thing with Vinny Sosa for me is when he realized what this league was about in the first game. He got clattered a little bit, but it wasn't giving us a free kick, and he's kind of like moaning a little. And then Chris Wilder comes over to him. It must have said something like, "You don't get those in the championship. Get on with it." And he said, "Okay, cool." And then all season he's just been a dominant force in the midfield. But for me, no, I think we've got enough of that. I think we need something else in midfield. But yeah, I'm sure Vinny Sosa will have his suitors this summer as well. Oh, is it Cooper? Oh, so yeah, Steve saying Cooper. Yeah. For me, no, unless he wants to be the second choice. For me, I want a real experienced goalkeeper, like I've said on here. In terms of Fofana, from the League Earn, Livakovic would be mine as well. If Nick Pope becomes available, even with his recent shoulder problems, he's still a reliable number one. There's, for me, I just want a more experienced, assured goalkeeper for me, in terms of Cooper, who is still unknown because he was literally one of the best teams of the league. And that, you don't put everything on one game. I'll never do that. But that last goal, man, I don't know how that crept by him, man. I'm not gonna lie. But look, listen, this is all to do with Premier League talk. And what I want to do now is get into some of the names we've discussed before, because I recently did a video. When was it that I did? Yeah, they get the 90-point trophy this year. We've passed it on. You're right, Lee. Yeah, it was, man. It was a daisy cutter. It felt like it was a daisy cutter, didn't it, man? But hey, listen, they could have had a bit of swerve on it. I don't know. A high pressure as well. Who knows? But listen, Sunderland are promoted, so now we know that they're going to be in the Premier League with us. What I will say now is, I mentioned Liam Delap on yesterday's video in saying that his managers come out and said that he can explore other options. Chelsea and Man United are interested and are looking to take it forward. But Fabrizio put this out today in that Everton have presented their project to Liam Delap in direct meeting with David Moyes involved. Face-to-face talks took place this week as Chelsea and Man United remain keen on the Ipswich striker. 30 million clause available. Everton would be ready to offer an important salary. Now, this isn't just for me to say that we should be all in for this, because if our other options are as good, or maybe you can get two for the price of one Liam Delap, then I can understand it. But if Liam Delap now, his next move isn't to the big six, I would like us to be in this conversation, because I think there's more to come from Liam Delap. Do I think we're going to be his final destination? Absolutely not. I think he will get to that next level eventually. If he's looking out for his career, I think this would be the best thing for him, like that Everton, Leeds United kind of move. Because I do see Everton being down there again. There's nothing in their squad at this point in time which makes me go, man, we got to look out for Everton a lot. I don't think their squad is that great. But I think we should be in this kind of conversation as well, if Leeds United were interested, to give him the project and see where we go. But let's have Ian Vader in the Prem. But the Liam Delap thing is interesting for me, because I think he's got all the attributes. I like what he's about. I like his game. I like his directness, and I like that he plays with a bit of a bite as well. You know, if he will get a yellow card at times, but I like that with my strikers. I like them to be a bit of a dog up there, and we're going to need that. We're going to be down there battling at this point in time, and the Liam Delap makes all the sense in the world to me. But if we're not in for him, I would love to know some of the players we are in for. What I will say as well, though, people, is that along with like what I said at the top of the show about messages, you know, saying this player, that player, Carl Walker-Peters is free. All of those things, man. If you add Carl Walker-Peters to this group, we get relegated still. He doesn't improve anything. What I'm looking for is is players that can compete with the first team and move them down to the bench. That's what we've got to have, or genuine competition for these players. There is no point just going in and getting a backup when the first team player knows I've got this spot. Look who they've brought in. He's no challenge to me. We need to make sure that we recruit properly. And you can still use the free agent market. You can still use the low market, but you've got to get the quality of player right. Any offers on Aronson, please? Hey, listen, man. He might be our starting 10, Steve. That's scary to me, but you just don't know at this point in time. That's what I'm saying. We don't know anything. We don't know anything as well. Jason here saying, with the last investment injection, we're in a prime position to build a great team to survive in the Prem. Absolutely, Jason. We've got the money. That's not going to be the issue. The issue isn't going to be with wages, money, or anything like that. It's going to be about hitting the right targets. That's all it's going to be. We've already spent loads of money previously in the Premier League, but we spent it really badly. And this is what we've got to avoid this time. No Ipswich, Leicester, and all these kind of things. We don't need to shop there. We can shop in a different market. We're Leeds United. And I can bet you Sunderland are already going to be trying to do that as well. I reckon they're going to start making moves pretty soon. They're going to be looking at it. Sunderland, big crowd, big expectations. I think they've got decent backers there as well, but correct me if I'm wrong. But I think they're going to be looking at the European market, especially with Reggie Lebris's influence, knowledge, and with their recruitment staff. We've got to be doing the same as well. But yeah, just putting it out there that Liam Delap, it isn't set in stone that he's going to move to the Big Six. This could be the rope-a-dope move in order to make Chelsea or Man United or someone like that going for him, with them leaking out that Everton have had face-to-face talks, because that's what people usually do, agents especially, to say, oh God, Everton are in for him. Let's quickly go and get him. So maybe that could be the case. But the fact that he may be even open to it should put us in the conversation if we wanted to. What I wanted to say as well, because a lot of you laughed at me. You were laughing before. Well, you're not laughing anymore, are you? Scott McTominay, who I just said on here, I didn't proclaim he was the greatest midfielder in the world. I just said with his playing style and the way that he moves on the pitch, box to box, gets you goals, Leeds United fans would love him. Now, maybe it's because you guys haven't been watching him out in Serie A or catching anything he's been done. Maybe it could be the ex-Man United factor, because I know that blinds a lot of you. Oh, I see red. See red. Oh. But he is a midfielder that I think Leeds fans would absolutely adore. And well, we're not getting him. Let me just say this now. We're not getting Scott McTominay. I don't know what he'd cost these days now, but he's just won the Serie A with Napoli. And he also got Serie A Player of the Year. Not too bad for someone there. People were just laughing at me like he was chopped liver. And in the final game, which won him the title, he scores a bicycle kick. Not too bad. Let me just say, never doubt Cage, man. Never doubt Cage. Ryan saying, stop calling me out. You weren't the only one though, Ryan, man. People acting like I was saying like he was like Zidane or something. I was just saying, in this day and age of football, he is the kind of midfielder that we try and recruit. Just energy, gets around the pitch, can tackle, can score goals, can assist them as well. What's not to like? But I think it was. I honestly think it's the ex-Man United thing what blinded people, because he wasn't even bad at Man United either. He was just in a bad team with a bad partner at the time in Fred and everything else like that. But listen, shout out to Scott McTominay, man. First they call you crazy, then they understand. Another one that we've been speaking about in terms of a different kind of wing option is Ritsu Doan, Japanese international. Well, I think this one is going to be slipping away. All right. It's going to be slipping away because Eintracht Frankfurt, who have made Champions League, are going all in for him, according to Florian Plettenberg. Frankfurt are going full throttle in their pursuit of Ritsu Doan and are preparing an offer. He remains the absolute dream signing for the manager and his team to strengthen the flanks. Dortmund still hold the interest, but Frankfurt are currently ahead in the race. However, full agreement has yet to be reached. And I mentioned Ritsu Doan just because it would have been something different off the right, quality player, absolutely lovely baller, creative force out there. But it would be a left footer coming off the right, which would be a different thing that we just don't have right now. All our wingers are right-footed, so it would have been nice to be in this conversation if we could have, but I think him staying in Germany kind of makes sense for him. Champions League, I can see the Frankfurt thing happening, so we might have to cross Ritsu Doan off the list. Peter here, what are we saying here? Can you see us bringing any players in the first week in this window? I would hope so, Peter, but I'm not saying that we will. Uh, but we've literally been promoted for a month and 3 days. So you would hope that we've made strides to complete players. I did contact a couple of my agent mates, and they've said their guys are on holiday, so they don't know, which doesn't help me. I don't know if we're going to have anyone signed in the first week. But what I would say is, even if we don't, I'm not going to panic in the first week of the window opening. I'm not. Because I'll be honest with you, some of the suggestions that people have been messaging me have been like ones where we haven't signed a player and we're on the last day of the transfer window and we're getting desperate. Oh yeah, just bring him in. We don't need to do that, people. We need to be measured, calculated, and going in this with a full plan ahead of the Premier League. And that's another thing as well. I don't want us to have any gaps in the team. We're not going to be able to strengthen every position. I'm fully aware of that. But what I don't want is, oh no, when come the end of the window, oh yeah, no, we didn't recruit 2 left backs, so we're going to have this player, and also this player can also play left back. We can't do that again. Let's not do that. Number 10s, number 10s, I would think it's going to be more of a hybrid 8 than the out and out 10 being in the Premier League. We didn't recruit well enough, but you know what? Nanto could play there if we need him to now, because we didn't even do that in the Championship. So I hope that they just get this right, and it's not easily done, but it can be done, especially now we're in the Premier League with all the money that we've got behind us as well. David here. Oh yeah, Sheffield United fans must be gutted. It looked in the bag, yeah. And it goes with that thing, doesn't it? Like last year, we have playoff voodoo, don't we? Sheffield United. I think this is their 10th time now. Maybe it's just not in the cards for certain clubs, man. Where if you don't go up in the top 2, forget about it. And yeah, they must be gutted, man, because they literally were. They were like it's like a replay of us last season. We were one of the best teams, but there's just 2 teams that have been better, and then you just haven't made it at that final hurdle. It's almost like a carbon copy of us, except for we had like 40 and 30 million pound players in our team. Tom, shame we haven't had no Ryan Kent interest yet. Tremendous. Crypto Steve saying here we need a bit of height in our team to attacking and defending corners. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've got to. There's so many things that we've got to strengthen. It's not just about buying players because they can take set pieces. We did that with Joe Rothwell in terms of he can take a set piece. I knew that before, but he didn't really do much with it, did he? This season, he didn't score 1 goal. It's about getting a more complete player, and if they've got deficiencies in certain areas, as long as they're not like glaring deficiencies, then you can kind of get away with it. But if you're signing one player just on the strength that they can take a free kick, that's where you get yourself into trouble. They tried it with Ward-Prowse, after Southampton. He can't find a settled home now, because I've always said it about Ward-Prowse, brilliant at set pieces, will never take that away from him. But as a midfielder, he's Championship. He's not that good. And it's proven with every time he steps on the pitch. That's not me talking. That's just the eyes. Even Southampton fans I know said the exact same thing. So, yeah. Why does everyone keep on calling Cooper Hooper? What is going on? Am I missing a joke here? Let me know, man. Let me know. What is this here? Oh, let me just. Where is it? Where is it? Kevin, do we go after Gus Harmer now? I don't know, Kevin. I have no idea whether the Premier League is his next destination or it's around Europe. I have no idea. Maybe he wants to go back to Holland. But listen, people talking about Harmer's fitness. As I said at the top of the video, the 70 minutes he'll give you will be better than some of the 90 a lot of players will give you. So if the price is right, and let's say he's got a non-promotion release clause of 13 million, absolutely go in there. But of course, we'll find out in due course. I don't know. Old Git in the house. Always love saying Old Git's name. What we hear at the minute is paper talk. Nobody knows who the 49ers are looking at. Absolutely Old Git. And it's a good thing as well, because some of the names that have been reported have been very uninspiring, to say the least. And it's one of those where if we were linked and signed half of the players that we were linked with, we'd get relegated next season, no problem. I don't know what it is when we're linked with players that people think because they're going to sign for Leeds United that they're all of a sudden going to become world beaters and change what they've been in the past. It doesn't work like that. In fact, the badge gets heavier when you play here. Just speak to a couple of players; they'll tell you. It's one of those where we're going to have to do better than what's been reported. And that's being very polite. Chris, Harmer would only need to do 20 minutes coming on for Aronson at 70 minutes. Yeah. Why do people want Cooper so much? He's decent, but I don't really rate him. Yeah, I'm the same, Hyru. I think he's done well this season. I'm not going to take away anything he's done overall this season. I think he has been good. But if you're talking about Leeds United shelling out a decent amount of money for a goalkeeper and it's him as the first choice, I just disagree with that. And exactly, Peter, 49ers work in silence. But listen, we always have to talk about rumors, whispers, but this is around the time now where Plettenberg starts talking, Romano starts talking, agents, when they're back from holidays, start talking. That's when you start to know what kind of players your team is looking at. So yeah, that's with Ritsu Doan. Who else is there? I've also mentioned, because we're talking right backs, and Sacha Boey is one that I was talking about previously. He's at Bayern Munich right now, and they are going to move him on, and this is via Plettenberg. Transfer of Sacha Boey to Galatasaray is currently unlikely. Reason: structure of the potential deal, transfer fee and salary. His market is being explored, with most inquiries at present coming from the Premier League. Bayern will allow him to leave in the summer. And this is what I'm talking about. If you're going to go for a player, to strengthen areas, we're going to need genuine competition for Bogle. Now, I've made it clear my first choice is Asai Samuel from Fenerbahce, who's free this summer. But if you can go in for a Bowie, that is genuine competition for Jayden Bogle, and probably starts ahead of him if we're talking about overall ability. But he'll obviously have to work his way up to that. But I would absolutely love Leeds to explore this deal if it's not too expensive, of course, if it's a doable deal. I won't say too expensive because I don't know our finances. I'll say a doable deal for Leeds United. I thought he was going to return to Galatasaray, which is why I kind of just like put him to the back of my mind. But with Plettenberg putting this out, that means he's available. And with Premier League teams being, inquiring him, are we one of them? I would love to be. I would love him. I would love to be one of to be one of the teams in for Sacha Boey, because then you've got your right side sewing up in Bogle and Bowie going forward. So, yeah, listen, we'll see if we're one of the teams, but it could be one of those high-end teams in Europe next season that are looking for him. But get in the conversation, Leeds United. Test the water, dip your toe in and see how much he'd cost. All right, see how much. Gary here saying Delap going to Chelsea according to Romano. Is that a recent update, Gary? You're not one of my usuals, Gary. So I don't know. Let me check though while I'm live. Let me check, because you could be right, because things change all the time in this transfer window. So let me have a look. By Luka Modric. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything to do with Chelsea, Gary. So I've got the last one. The one that's gutting me right now, though, people. One of my ballers is going to be moving to Liverpool, man, and I've got to look at him like, oh, not you as well. Florian Wirtz, man. Oh, it hurts. It hurts. It hurts so bad. Why Liverpool of all teams? Oh God, I hate when that happens, man. When you really like a player and they move to a team that you're not very fond of, that sucks, man. Sucks. I'm not. It's people saying I'm looking at Fabrizio's thing now. It's not saying anything. Okay, well, I think I've got the last update with that one. So yeah, we're gonna move on from that. So what else is there? Oh, this was the other thing I want to cover before we get out of here. And the only reason why I'm going to bring this up, we know that Daniel Farke is going to be here, but I know people think that there's going to be contingency plans in case anything happens, and there should be. But one name that comes up from a couple of you is Jurgen Klopp, and I don't know why it keeps coming up. Now, in football, things can change, but this is the latest from Jurgen Klopp himself. And he was on the mic. He was very disappointed with Liverpool fans booing Trent and everything. I wonder how that's going to go down. But Jurgen Klopp said this because he was also rumored to be going Roma. I'm not going to become AS Roma's new head coach. That story is BS. If you read any rumors about me taking a coaching job in the next few years, it's BS. You can be the first to say it. And this is what I've been trying to talk to people about, because people have this thing where if we're failing in the league, that Farke's going to get booted out and we're going to get Klopp in. And I just don't know why people think it, because Klopp himself has said that he will never manage another team in England out of respect to Liverpool. So there's your first red flag straight away. And also the fact that he wants some time away. But we have seen in previous history that managers say they want to take time out, but the right opportunity comes along and they take it. So that part, yes. But the fact that he's even said that he won't want to manage in England again, out of respect to Liverpool, should have put that to bed anyway. But like I say, if he ever does become Leeds manager, feel free to come back to this, clip me up, whatever. But we can put Klopp to Leeds to bed now, right? We can put that to bed. Klopp in. Listen, I'm not saying I wouldn't like it. I mean, you know, I'm not saying I wouldn't like it, but it's just not ever going to happen. All right. But there we go. So there's an update from Jurgen Klopp himself, people, from himself. Are there any other names, anything else that anyone wants to talk while we're live? Listen, guys, as I said in recorded videos, there really isn't a lot going on right now when it comes to transfer rumors in or out, which I need to hear some more out, by the way. I need to hear someone's interested in Meslier. There's whispers that Aronson could be let go. You know, Pascal Stroud could be heading for pastures new and Leeds are going to replace him. You know, I want to hear some rumors out as well, because we do need to move some players on. The only one that keeps on cropping up is obviously Bamford and Mateo Joseph to Betis. That won't go away at this point in time, but there's absolutely nothing concrete. So it is very quiet right now. It's very quiet, but obviously the window isn't open yet. So as I say to everyone, we'll stay calm for now. We won't panic for now, right? Yeah. JG, any interest in Benjamin Shelton? Yeah, brother. Yeah, I love that Benjamin Shelton. Yeah, brother. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, Jack. Yeah. Seeing all that with Bamford. In fact, I've spoken about that before. Yeah. Yes, yeah. Just go, please. Just go. No, not for me, Michael. No, he's well past his sell by date. Used to like Fabianski a lot. Really, really good goalkeeper. But we need to be more ambitious than that. Like I say, we need to be going for a more established goalkeeper. And Livakovic for me is in that ballpark. If you can get him, absolutely go and do it. Go and do it, man. Very, very quiet, John. Very quiet. So anytime that I can get a video together, I'll try and leave it so you know, a few stories or things can accumulate. But yeah, it is very quiet right now, which as a creator does me no favors, but it is just quiet in the world of Leeds United. What are we saying here? Noel saying here, I would. You wanted Sheffield United to go up, so you could have gone for Lefay. Yeah, Lefay was locked out in the first half because Sheffield United were just dominating Sunderland. But he then moved around, which is, if you go back to the very first video I spoke about Enzo Lefay, I spoke about his versatility on the pitch, where he can be in the defensive midfield position, he can be in the 10, he can be in the 8, and he can be off, and he can play off the wing. He's just efficient in so many areas, and you saw in the second half he was taking over the game. Like, he was just so influential, calming, pirouetting around players, keeping the ball, holding the ball better as well for Sunderland. Yeah, he's going to be interesting. Someone was saying there that they've got to buy. Is that a like obligation to buy or option to buy him in the summer? But I can imagine he'll want to stay with Reggie Lebris and take his shot at the Premier League next season for sure. Yeah, I got you, Noah. I got you, man. I got you. I deciphered it. Don't worry about it. But yeah, so is that it then, people? Are we Dunsky? Are we Dunsky for the okay, D Parker? Yes, obligation between 16 and 20. Yeah, I think I remember. Yeah, I think I remember saying that when he first signed on loan. What a loan signing for the championship, by the way. Tremendous. Tom Q question: would you sell any of our players in the summer if the price is right? Yeah. I mean, like who though, Tom? Like who? I mean, Meslier? Yeah, are we not talking about easy ones? Are we talking about like first teamers? Are we talking that? It's difficult because when we're talking about our squad this season that's gone up, it's not like last season where any right? Yeah, any. It's not like last season where we actually had assets that could be worth 40 million, as proven with the sales that we made. This season, we've had a more complete team, but the assets aren't that expensive. I would probably think if we're going to have the most saleable asset, it'd probably be Tanaka at this point. And I mean, he's getting extra points as well, with Declan Rice mention him as well. He's had a very good year. But I wouldn't sell Tanaka. I would be trying to buy Tanaka if we was up in the Premier League right now. That's who you want to go for. So absolutely not with Tanaka. No to Ampadu, because he's Premier League ready as well, in my opinion. Again, it's just my opinion there. Pascal Struijk, I would. if you're asking from the first team, because I think we can improve on him and get a more reliable centre back that's going to be fitter. Listen, his last injury wasn't his fault, but when you accumulate them all up, he's not very reliable when it comes to staying fit. And I think we're going to need just a little bit more of a better defender who's better with his positioning when it comes to the Premier League, because that was slipping away from Pascal in the last couple of months. Not going to lie. It was Joe Rodon holding up the fort. And that's not to say Pascal was terrible, because he wasn't, but there was a few instances where his positioning just wasn't good. And maybe it was just due to the previous injuries that he had. But yeah, if we could sell Pascal for a decent amount of money and replace him, yeah, I would. Who else? Nonto, no, just purely on the basis that we've got to owe like 30 or 40% to his previous club. And at this point, you probably only get around 20 million for him, which I don't think you should be going for. Let's see what he can do in the Premier League next season and build on that. But yeah, Ramazani, if it depends on Ramazani if he needs to stay, if he wants to stay, if he feels like he's going to get the required game time under Varka, because he won't be happy with what he did last season. It's interesting, but yeah, I think we need to add more to the first 11 and move them down to the bench rather than sell any. But of course, if you can get better players, I'm all for it. I'm not really attached to any of the players. I love what they've done for us, but I'm about moving Leeds United now to the next level. And if the club see fit of replacing any of them with better players, I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. Exactly, John. It's exciting times. That's exactly of it. What's your opinion of Watson? I'll be honest, I didn't really know anything about him, but I do know that I think he's going to Brighton, right? I think that's already been pre-agreed, because I heard it on commentary that Sunderland fans aren't happy with him where he's going. I'm thinking, well, where's he going then? Why they wouldn't be happy? Is he going Newcastle? But I think he's going to Brighton, isn't he, in the summer? But what a goodbye gift, what a goodbye gift. James, would you take Rafinha back? Obviously not realistic. He's the one X that I would have back. Absolutely. You'd be crazy not to have Rafinha. But James, it's a good point, because I put out a video yesterday about Calvin Phillips and that horrible rumor that keeps popping up that we're trying to reunite with him. That's not the kind of reunion you want. Rafinha is literally a world-class player. We saw glimpses of that when he was here last time. He's moved up levels. He's got 2 La Liga titles under his belt. They're going to be going for the Champions League again. Rafinha, I mean, he said himself when he signed his new contract, he signed a new one, I think this week, that he wants to retire at Barca. So I don't think we're ever going to get him back again. But yeah, he's the one X I would take back. Phillips isn't, I liken it to the man who's peeking over the screen right now, David Batty. That's another return that works. But in general, returns don't really work out. They don't work. And especially when you look at Calvin Phillips now, I don't want any part of that. But yeah, I love seeing Rafinha and doing what he's doing now. It's great to see, isn't it? And the fact that he had a stop here at Leeds United, we love it. We love it. Shout out to you, Deshar, man. Shout out to you. But Nidar is right. We should be trying to find the next Rafinha. Absolutely, Nidar. But that will do it for the stream, people. Drop your comments below. Like the video if you will. And I'll see you in the next one, people. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Peace out.